Well, it's always a great feeling, isn't it, when the team wins a hard-fought contest like this one in Cuttack. Time now for us to bring in Mr. Sunil Gavaskar into the show. Mr. Gavaskar, thank you so much, sir, for joining us again. Great to have you back here on NDTV. Now, this statistic is incredible. Whenever Yuvraj Singh and Singh Dhoni have put on a 100-run stand, India has never lost a one-day match. Now, before we talk about the serious stuff as far as the cricket is concerned, I have to ask you, if you had to assign superhero names, sir, like Superman or Batman to Yuvraj and Dhoni, what would they be?
Well, I think I would say Superman for Yuvraj and Spider-Man for MSD.
Any particular reason, sir? Spider-Man for MSD?
Well, I mean, Superman, because, you know, look at what Yuvraj has had to undergo, his health issues and then coming back. And then, of course, everybody questioning why he should be in the team and then replying in the best possible manner, in such a classical manner, in such a stylish manner, stylish and elegant manner, responding to the critics with his highest ever score in one-day cricket. And that makes him a Superman in my eyes. And as far as Spider-Man is concerned, you know, Spider-Man gets in and out of, positions. In sticky positions as only he can, and that's what MST did. Started off slowly, ones and twos. At one stage he was scoring, he was taking sort of 2 balls for 1 run, but look at the way he caught up and scored a runner ball 100 as well. So for me, I think he would be Spider-Man.
All right, that's great. Now, picking up from where you left off, sir, as far as Yuvraj Singh, Superman in your books is concerned, he incidentally is looking quite fit as well. Now, some people, sir, questioned when he was brought back into the ODI setup after 3 long years if he actually deserved a crack again at a comeback. Do you think Yuvi, the man and the cricketer, has perhaps for once and for all silenced his critics?
I think so. I think, you know, we often look at, we are in such a rush to, you know, finish off the careers of some of our loyal servants of the game when they get into the mid-30s, that it's incredible. I always question whether the same rule people would apply to themselves in whatever careers that they are in, that they go through some sort of a little bad patch. Would they want themselves to be dismissed from office or work or for the jobs that they have? I think what the experience that these players can bring to the table is incalculable. I mean, it is invaluable as well. I mean, look at the way they steadied the innings. Yuvraj kept scoring runs at one end, you know, with no problems at all. Dhoni, on the other hand, was egging Yuvraj on, was making sure Yuvraj didn't get carried away, while at the same time playing himself in. So that kind of experience you would not have seen maybe if there had been a youngster at the crease. I'm not saying a youngster wouldn't have scored those runs. And sure, you've also got to look forward. But these guys are only 35 years old. And they're really, really fit. So I don't see what's the problem with them being in the team. So clearly, those who have been questioning their inclusion in the team, all we can say is, thank God, they are not the selectors of the Indian cricket team.
Right, listening to what Yuvi had to say there, sir, you know, my career has been through lots of ups and downs. I knew that I was hitting the ball well, told Sanjay Bangar that, you know, I was due for a big one, perhaps it will be in this match. You still feel that not only does this man has still got a lot to provide and to give to Indian cricket, he still has a point or two to prove as well.
No, I think he's only got a point or two to prove to himself, which he did. He said that also clearly at the presentation, that I didn't have to, excuse me, didn't have to prove anything to anybody. It was only to myself. And I think that's what he's done. And again, he's done it in great style. So the belief, he said, was always on the inside. There might have been no belief outside. The belief was in the inside. And that is the important thing. Once a player has self-belief that he can do it, more often than not, he does it.
Absolutely. Now, talking about the other superstar in this match, Mr. Gavaskar, Spider-Man in your books, Singh Dhoni, have you seen a certain change perhaps in the approach that, when it comes to batting for MSD ever since he's given up limited overs captaincy? Has he gone back to his free-flowing style of batting that we used to see earlier?
Well, let me tell you, it's not going to be easy straight away to think slightly differently. When you've been captain for such a long time, for 7-8 years, suddenly it's not easy to feel that it's completely gone and you can play the way you want. I think he realized at that stage that what he needed to do was to stay at the crease. Again, the belief in oneself. Again, the belief that even if I start slowly, I'll be able to catch up. I'll be able to make up for a slow start and score at a runner ball, or maybe even better than that. And that's what MSD did. No, I haven't seen much change in his approach. What we saw is exactly the Dhoni we've seen in the past, playing himself in, running hard between wickets, and then when it comes to the last 8 or 10 overs, opening those broad shoulders, and the ball is sailing into the crowd.
Right, talking about both these gentlemen, Mr. Gavaskar, both Yuvraj Singh and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, both of them scored these centuries after biggish gaps. Now, Yuvraj, of course, hasn't been a regular in the ODI team. He's coming back after 3 years, but Dhoni has been a constant. What do you think clicked here in Cuttack, sir? Was it the opposition? Was it the conditions? Was it just the fact that they were batting with each other and it was reminiscent of the old days? Perhaps the way they played in the World Cup? What really clicked here in Cuttack for both these two superstars?
I think the pitch was the main factor. It was a very, very good pitch to bat on. The ball came onto the bat quite nicely. The outfield was lightning quick. So once the ball went between the fielders and there was no protection on the boundary, you got 4 runs. But more importantly was the way both of them wanted to do well for India, wanted to make sure that India gets a big score so that they end up winning the match and with it the series.
Right. In the middle of all of this, Mr. Gavaskar, one really has to spare a thought for a certain Owen Morgan. 102 of 81 balls, taking the match literally down to the wire into the last over. What did you make of that knock by the English skipper, sir?
Well, I think, again, question marks about him because he had missed out on the Bangladesh tour because of security issues. He didn't feel secure to go for that tour. And he was under pressure. And again, showing that class is permanent. Yeah. He's been a fabulous one-day player. He's been a fabulous T20 player for England or for whichever team that he's played for. And it was his belief again that despite the fact that the asking rate was climbing and getting virtually over the last 8-10 overs, it was getting pretty impossible. He believed that he could do it. And that's why England came so close. Otherwise, India would have probably won with maybe 40, with a 40-50 run margin.
Right. One final question, sir. Overall, how would you rate Virat Kohli's captaincy in this match and also India's bowling performance?
I love the way you guys are all the time wanting me to rate Virat Kohli's captaincy. It's just his second match as a captain. So I think, just take it easy. The time to judge captaincy, etc., is a little bit later. I think India came, as far as the bowling was concerned, India's bowling was absolutely top class. Ashwin, the way he bowled. Jadeja, on a pitch as good as this, bowling 10 overs, taking 1 wicket for 45 runs. Kedar Jadhav gave away runs in his final over, but before that, he bowled really well. So I think India's bowling came good. Bumrah bowling well, Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling well. So I think that is the important thing. On a pitch like this, they were going to go for runs. They were going to, most bowlers were going to concede about 6-7 runs per over. That was always on the cards. But they kept their nerve and in the end took India to a win.
All right. So at the end of the day, India taking an unbeatable 2-0 series lead, and let's hope that India wrap up a series whitewash. And I promise you, sir, we'll wait for at least another series or so before we ask you about Virat Kohli's captaincy in limited overs cricket. But thank you so much, Mr. Gavaskar, for joining us. It was always a pleasure having you here on the show. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.